Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, or I guess good evening, good morning, wherever you happen to be. Welcome. Uh, so, we had a couple of days earlier this week here in Los Angeles that were very summer like, but today is definitely more fall weather. There are seasons in LA, contrary to popular belief. The weather does change. Um, I do have windows open, so hopefully nobody makes a bunch of noise outside. If they start to, I might have to close them. But here we are. So welcome. And today we are going to work on uh, fixing some accessibility issues. So we are constantly changing, constantly updating our marketing website, as most marketing websites go, I think. And we do the best that we can, but we do inadvertently add accessibility issues to the site sometimes. And so we've had our internal accessibility testing team go through the marketing site, and they've found a bunch of issues. So we have some issues that were found by our automated scanner, and then we have some issues that were found by manual testing. And I've been just kind of slowly chipping away at those over time so I can show you the chart here. Yay. The chart of the total count of issues has improved over time. So I do try to come in and fix, knock out at least a few things every week and make sure that we're removing any barriers that might exist on our marketing website. And that's what we're going to take care of today. We're going to try to get this number down even further. So our issue count today is at 28 as we start, and our issue instances are at 901. So we have 901 total instances of these 28 different accessibility issues, and we're going to see how many of those we can get fixed today. Now, some of these fixes we will be able to do just in the editing interface of WordPress. So our marketing website is a WordPress website. So some of those fixes I will be able to do just by going into the editing interface and adjusting some settings, or, adding alt text to an image, changing a color, etc. Other issues will involve going in and updating code. So we will see a little bit of code today. And I do have a local copy of the site, although it's a little bit out of date content wise, but I think that's actually fine. I think that should actually be okay, because any code changes I have to make would be the same code that's on production, and any content changes I would just make directly on the production site. So I'm not too concerned about my content being out of date, because the files themselves are up to date and in sync with what's on the live site. All right. So recently in Aardvark, we added, and you can see here's our chart. So we do have 13 low priority issues left to fix, and we have 15 warnings that we'll have to take a look at. Some of those could be issues, some of them won't be issues. They're just things that the scanner identified and couldn't quite tell if it was actually something that needed help or not. So we'll probably have time to get to at least some of those and figure out if those are actually issues or not. So recently on the Aardvark, this is the dashboard for a particular site. So I'm on our Aardvark marketing site project inside of Aardvark itself. I know it's a little bit of inception. We're testing the Aardvark marketing site with Aardvark. And we can see that it's scanning a total of 214 pages. And we recently added this section called "Here's What You Can Do Next," that helps to surface just a small handful of issues that are on your pages that can be fixed. Now, these 3 issues that are here, I actually fixed last week, and I have a feeling that the pull request just didn't get merged in. So we can check on that actually. So I believe, so what these issues were, just so we all know, if I click through and look at one, um, they were duplicate IDs that were on some SVG files, and we had the SVG files embedded directly in HTML. And I think we exported all of those out of Figma, and they all got exported with the exact same ID, even though they were 3 different icons. They all had paths. I think it was paths inside of them with the same ID. So let's go take a look. Oh, it's a group. Okay, a group in the SVG with the exact same ID. And you can see that this was seen on 94 pages. And this is our WCAG in plain English. So there are some icons that we use on the WCAG in plain English screen that, for whatever reason, when we exported those out of Figma, I think is where they came from, they all got these same 3 IDs, which is not ideal. And also, I don't even think those groups needed to be in those SVGs. So what I did is I used an SVG optimizer. So I like this one right here, SVG OMG. And it has this nice feature where you can just paste the markup of an SVG into it, and it will automatically remove any of that extra stuff that you don't actually need. It is a free tool, so it's got some ads on the screen. Okay, you could use an ad blocker maybe, or let the ads show and support the developer who created this tool because it is super useful. But you can just paste in the markup and it will optimize the SVG. You can see it on the screen to verify that it hasn't made any kind of change that actually hurts the SVG. And then it gives you a little, it just gives you a little download button once you've done that to download the cleaned up SVG file. So I used that tool. I went in and I cleaned up all of our SVGs and I did submit pull requests. Let's go take a look at GitHub real quick and see if those didn't get merged in maybe. So let's go to our repositories, Aardvark web, and pull request. No, it's not open. Okay, so maybe it just didn't go. Well, it says 5 days ago. 5 days ago. Let's see. When was this scan run? Let's go back to this marketing site. Where was our scan done? 3 days ago. And it reopened these SVG issues, huh? Okay, so we might have a caching problem, which is another thing that happens. So I think maybe the first thing that we want to do is let's go into this issue and let's just go look at one of these pages and see if that ID is actually on the page. So we'll go to WCAG in plain English and let's do a search. Oops, I'm in the console. I want to go over here. Okay, let's do a search. It is still there. Okay, so I think we have a caching problem. So you can see this is every single one of these SVGs had these these exact same IDs on it. And also you can see this is an empty group. Like there's not even any reason for it to be there. So it, like you don't even need this group. This one actually has a path, a couple of paths in it. But no, they don't need IDs. So I did clean that up. I'm not sure why it's not showing on production, but that issue is already fixed. So there's nothing else for me to do there aside from maybe clear the cache and figure out why that's still there, because I definitely removed those. All right, so that is our 3 reopened issues. So we will skip those. since I think those are already fixed and I've showed you how I fixed those. So let's go to our list of issues for the rest of the site and let's take a look at what we've got here. So we've got another duplicate ID problem, but this one looks separate. And we can see Aardvark explains to us, what does this mean? The same ID value is used multiple times, which can cause some problems. It's not going to cause a lot of problems, which is why it's a low severity issue. And I've cleared up all the, critical and high and even moderate issues that are on the site now. And we just have this handful of low priority issues that are here. And I wonder, so this is interesting. I wonder, okay, so this is also in WCAG in plain English. Let's go ahead and open that in a new tab. And I wonder if the same image is on the page more than once. Not clear why that ID would be on there twice, but let's figure it out. So we'll go over here and I'll open the console, and in the Elements tab, I'm using Chrome today. I'll just do Command F because I'm on a Mac. It would be Control F if you were on Windows, and I'll just search for that string. And indeed, it is there 4 times. All right, but here it's an ARIA described by, so that one should be fine. So let's go take a look. Okay, so we have a figure ARIA described by our fig caption, so that all looks good, but I see that there's 2 more. Oh, interesting. It's a nested figure? That shouldn't be happening. Okay, so I don't know what happened here, but we have a figure nested in a figure, and they each have a fig caption, and they each have the same ID. So let's go figure out, let's go into this, edit this article, and we'll figure out what's going on. It does seem to be this very cute image of the disco dog. So let's go ahead and edit this article and see what we can figure out here, because that seems a little fishy. All right. So let's find where we have that dog image. Here it is. And let's see. Nothing looks super suspicious yet. Let's go ahead and flip over to the code. Oh, I guess I should. Hold on. What was my image ID? Okay, here. For more information is right in front of that. So let's look over here for more information. Okay, so here it is here. Yeah, and I do see, I think this might be a copy paste issue. So you can see that there's a hard-coded, there's a hard-coded figure and fig caption wrapped around the caption shortcode from WordPress. So I'm pretty sure that's what's causing the problem. Oh my gosh, sorry, these side flyout menus are just going wild. All right, so I think we should be able to just delete this extra figure here and the ending fig caption and figure tags. I think that was just caused by some copy paste. And I think that should be all good. So let me go ahead and update this. And this should clear the cache for this page, just doing this update. All right. So let's go take a look at it now. And here was the caption ID I was looking for. Let me open the console again. And let's do a search. So now we have only 2. Yay. And the image, the page still looks the same. So we didn't cause any problems on there. And everything should be good. So we can go back in here and mark as fixed. All right. And that was all the instances of that issue. So we'll resolve that issue. And let's go back to our list. Tackle the next one. Which, is this the same one that we just looked at? No, it's a different one. Okay. All right. So it's on the same article though. All right. So this time It is attachment. Oh, I wonder if we just fixed this, actually. I have a feeling that we just fixed this at the same time that we fixed that other problem. Yeah, that's only there once. Okay, great. I think that was caused by the same thing of the figure and the fig caption being there twice. So it looks like that is fixed. So I will fix that. And that's our last instance. All right, next issue. Another one. This one is just a generic issues. So just the word issues being used as an ID on, let's see where it is. This looks like it's one of our Help Center articles. And I suspect this is also a copy paste. I've already run into this a couple of times on the site. So I think this is from copy pasting. But let's go ahead and go look at the page. And it was this, I think, right? Issues, accessibility issues. Oh, it's this one right here is the problem. And so we use a table of contents plugin on the site. Yeah. See, I have a H3 with an ID of issues, and then there's a span with an ID of issues nested inside of it. So I think what's causing this is some copy pasting from the front end of the site. So we have this table of contents WordPress plugin that's in use on the site that adds an ID to each of our headings. And then I think when somebody comes in to write a new article and maybe they copy paste a section from another article and paste it in, it brings that ID over, but they don't realize it. And then we end up with a duplicate. So all we have to do is go edit this guide and clean that up. So we're looking for that word issues. Oh, let me close this console. We don't need that for this one. All right, this one here. And we'll edit that as HTML and take a look. And we can just remove this ID of issues off of there. And you can see it didn't change anything about how it looks, but it did clean up our duplicate ID issue. Save it. And of course, my internet's a little bit slow because of live streaming. All right, and now let's go ahead and inspect that issues again. All right, and now our H3 doesn't have the ID anymore. The span does. Our table of contents link will work. The span is added by the table of contents plugin. So that's how it works. It adds that little span wrapped around the heading and puts the ID on it so that when you click that heading, it jumps to that section. So that's where that's coming from. But because somebody was copy pasting, the ID got copied from somewhere and got put in there. So then we ended up with two of them. All right, I'm getting lots of windows open. So let me close a few of these. Actually, I can probably close all of these except for where I'm working. Okay, so this one we can go ahead and mark as fixed, and that is our last instance. So we can mark the whole issue as resolved. Okay, back to our list of issues. This is what remediation looks like. It's not super exciting. Okay, so these are the ones that I think I already fixed, that I'm not clear why those aren't coming through. It is kind of bothering me though, if I'm honest. Let's see if let's go to one of these pages and let's take a look. Just double check my fix that I did before. Okay, so the ID I'm looking for here is this one. So let me open the console, and on elements, I'm going to search and look for that. Though, it is saying it's a duplicate, but it is only here once, which is also suspicious. Yes, it was the home icon was one that I do remember doing the optimization on to remove these empty, these empty groups that have no IDs, or that have IDs on them for no reason whatsoever, really. And I did clean that up, I swear. So let's figure this out. All right. Go to WCAG in Plain English homepage. Okay. Let's see. Well, it's not on this page. Single. Okay, article, sidebar. Whoops. Oops, now I've done it. Okay, there we go. Okay, here's where we are. Here's the SVG. Oh, it is still. Interesting. Did I somehow miss one? What did I do here? All right. Woof. Also, what is happening here? No, I did not change 1,187 files. No, I definitely did not. Upgrade temp. Oh, there's some kind of WordPress update running in the background. Okay. We don't want that to happen. Okay. WooCommerce products. What on earth? Okay. What are these? Oh, it's Elementor. Looks like it updated itself in the background, hopefully, while I was in the middle of doing this code. Yay, thank you. Thank you for that wonderful timing. Okay. Let me go ahead and I guess we missed one. So let's go back over here to this code and I can show you how to use that optimizer tool. So let's go ahead and copy this whole SVG. Maybe. There we go. Oops, I went too far. All right, this SVG. Copy. Let's go back over here. SVG optimizer. And we'll paste in our markup. And you see we get our little house and it reduced the size of the file by 70% because it got rid of all that extra stuff. And you can download the new SVG or you can just copy. And then I can paste it in here and you can see way simpler, no unnecessary IDs, no empty groups. And in fact, I'm even going to get rid of this empty script tag. That actually doesn't even need to be there either. All right. So we got that problem fixed. So let's go back over here. And there's the change I actually made. So that is the only file checked. Let's just double check. This is the actual change I want. Okay. And remove extra G from SVGs in WCAG in plain English. All right, and we'll commit that. And we didn't publish this branch yet. That's okay. We'll go ahead and do it. All right. So we got that problem fixed. Now I am going to come in here and mark this as fixed. And we took care of that one, right? Is that the same one? Icon character, icon. It will not be fixed on the live site right now. I am aware of that. Yeah. All right. So we got that fixed. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that one as fixed. Mark that one as fixed. By the time my fix gets pushed to production, we'll still have a couple of days time before the next weekly scan runs on this site because Aardvark has an automatic scan that runs every week on this site. So it runs every Sunday. And my change will be in production by then. And it'll confirm my fix. All right, so we've got all those instances cleared up. So let's go ahead and mark that as resolved. And we'll go back over to our list and tackle the next one, which looks like the same issue that we just fixed. I suspect. Let me just double check. I'm just going to double check that that is that little homepage icon. Yeah, it is for sure. Okay, So we'll go ahead and mark this one as fixed. And that was our last instance here. So we'll resolve that. All right, next one is also was on that same thing. So let's go ahead and mark that one as fixed. And resolve that whole issue. Okay. Next, duplicate ID of search. So that sounds like maybe a development mistake. Okay, let's take a look at where it's happening on our help center. Search bar in our help center has an ID of search. So let's go take a look at that. Let's go head over to the site. I'll go ahead and close these extra tabs. And it's this search bar is the one in question. Which again, probably says label for search, ID of search. We have something else with an ID of search somewhere on the page. Let's see if we can find, whoops, see if we can find what that is. Oh, first you have to spell search correctly. That always helps. All right. Okay, so first one is just in this script. It looks like search. This is a little bit of an annoying one because maybe if I put quotes around it, because of course that word is going to show up so many times on the page. Oh my gosh, again, with the typing. Okay. That's just a value of search, a label for search, the ID of search, a value of search. Aha, there we go. Span ID of search. Oh, I see. It's our table of contents. Plug in again because we have a heading that just says search and it just basically creates a slug of whatever the text is in the heading. So it is creating one that is just called search, and that is causing a conflict with our search bar at the top, which also explains why this is happening only on this one page, not everywhere. So it's a page where we happen to have a heading called search. Okay, so we have two possible fixes. One is we could update the ID on this search bar to be something, I don't know, header search or something like that, so that we would know it's really super unlikely that it would ever clash with something that's in our table of contents. The other thing that we could do is go to this search heading and change it to something else. Oh, yeah. So that's even broken. I can't even go down in the article because of course it takes me to the search bar. So yeah, so that's why this is an accessibility issue that we need to take care of. Because now clicking search in our article doesn't actually work. So that's actually a pretty amusing problem that we've managed to create for ourselves here. All right, so let's look at this section first, if I can find it. Let's see. Since I can't skip to it, I'm stuck scrolling. Okay. Search. All right, so it's talking about the search that's in the header of the Aardvark interface. So it's basically a little tutorial kind of walking you through how to use this header area. And we have this search, which will search all of our Help Center articles. All right, well, I think I'm going to go in favor of, let's see, code change or content change. I think I'm going to go in favor of a content change here and change this header because I actually don't think search is all that helpful here. So let's go ahead and edit this guide and let's review all the headings in the article and make sure that they're all helpful. Okay, so it is a dashboard overview that's explaining to me how I would use the dashboard of the account. All right, so I get to my account, I get to my profile, manage workspace, plan and billing, support center, and log out. A workspace dashboard, manage workspace settings, integration, site dashboard. Site URL, issues, pages, Teams, settings, integrations, notifications. Okay, I'm starting to get dizzy from all this scrolling. All right. So we seem to be working our way kind of across this bar here. Notifications. Okay, so let's rename this to Search the Help Center, which will update the slug. And I think helps make that more clear than just search. And help and support. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. And take a look. We'll just confirm that that fixed it. So I should now be able to search the Help Center. Go straight to it. All right, so no more duplicate ID on this page. I'll go ahead and close out these two tabs. And we can mark that as fixed. Hooray. All right. Resolve. Let's go back to our list of issues. Next one, another duplicate ID. All right, Cloudflare's cache. That is not a good sign. All right, how is that one happening? Let's take a look. Oh, okay, it's another heading. Do we have two headings with the same? This one's interesting. All right, let's figure out why. Oh, I bet this is one of those copy paste issues, actually. Cloudflare's cache. Let's inspect this. And I bet we have an ID. Yep, we have a header with an ID wrapped around a span with an ID. So let's go ahead and fix that. We'll just take that ID off the heading in the editor. Let me go ahead and close the console. We don't need that anymore. Cloudflare's cache. I'll edit as HTML and get rid of that ID. All right. That should have resolved that problem. As soon as it saves, we'll just double check. Okay. Cloudflare's cache, inspect. All right, and our heading doesn't have an ID anymore, but there is a span. So our table of contents still works, but we don't have the duplicate ID. So mark that as fixed. And that was our only instance. So we can resolve that issue. We've closed a lot of issues today, I have to say. This is very exciting. All right. Duplicate ID of step 4. I bet this is the same thing. I bet it's that there's a heading and there's a span, I'll bet you. Oh, no. Actually, it looks like it's something else. All right. So let's take a look. So it says we've got a duplicate heading of step 4. Let's go figure out what's going on. Let's head over to this page. And I'll open up my console and do a search for step 4. And I see that we have a link to step 4, but that's not causing a problem. We have an H3 called step 4, which is a little bit suspicious because that is not the text that's in that heading. And then we do have the text that's in this heading, which I think this is the one that's getting created automatically by the table of contents plugin. Well, let's see if we can figure out where else this ID of step 4 shows up. Oh, step 5 has an ID of step 4. All right, so there's definitely some copy pasting in here that's causing some issues. So I think let's go ahead and go in and edit this guide, and we'll just take out any IDs that are on the headings and clean that up because I think that's I think they copy pasted a section, and oh, suddenly Cloudflare doesn't think I'm a person. So I must be fixing too many things. I'm fixing too many issues. I make Cloudflare suspicious. All right. So let's go to step 4. and edit that as HTML. And let's get rid of that ID of step 4 on that one. And then let's go to step 5 and edit that as HTML. And also get rid of the ID of step 4. All right, I'm just going to double check this one. Step 6, let's take a look. Oh, ID of step 4. Okay, good thing I looked. All right, okay. What do we think is on step 3? What do you think? Let's go look. And it is HTML. Oh, it does say step 3, but we actually don't need that. We can take that off. And let's check step 2. Yeah, that one does say step 2. Just not necessary. And then we see that it's, it causes these problems when people copy paste content without knowing that there were IDs manually added in there. And then we end up with duplicates. Okay, so I think we should be all set. So step 4 was actually on the page 3 times, not just 2. And I think it should be all fixed now. Let's go view it. Take a look. And let's go to step 3. Oh, it was step 4 was the problem. Let's go ahead and inspect that. And the H3 itself doesn't have an ID anymore. And the ID to the span inside is getting created automatically. And then let's just quickly inspect this one since it was there as well. Okay, I think we're all set. Okay, we'll go ahead and close out these couple of windows and mark this one as fixed. And I think we have a second issue because it was there twice. So now we've closed all the instances. We can mark the issue as resolved. All right. Oh, more duplicate IDs. Okay. Well, we got 4 more to clean up. Let's go figure out what's happening. I think it looks like more copy pasting that we can just fix real quick. All right. So marking instances as fixed. Let's go ahead and go over here and take a look. And let me open my console, do a search for that ID string. We have an href, that's fine. Marking instances as fixed, marking instances as fixed. Now, one of those, oh, I see. Yeah, it's the heading and then the span. Yep, so it's the same thing. So let's go ahead and edit the guide and find our heading that says marking instances as fixed. There we go. And edit as HTML. And clean up this ID. We don't need that on there. All right, save. All right, and we'll just verify that it's gone. Marking instances as fixed, inspect. And our H3 doesn't have an ID on it anymore. All right, close those out. We can mark that as fixed. We got no instances left on this issue, so we'll resolve it. And let's go back. 3 more. All right, issue status. I bet it's the same thing. Let's go take a look. It's a heading in the help center, so yes, definitely looks like it. And which one was it again? Issue status. This one right here. Inspect. Yep, we have the header and the span, so we'll edit that. And at least this one's toward the top of the article. Issue status. All right. Edit as HTML. Get rid of that ID out of there. And save. And then we'll just confirm it. issue status, inspect. Make sure we got it. All right, looks good. We can mark that as fixed. Was our only instance and resolve. Okay, close these extra windows. All right, two more to go of duplicate IDs. Oh, actually, these are our last true issues. And then after that, we have warnings. So we'll be taking a look at those. Okay, let's do assigning issues. Yep, another heading in the help centers. Let's get that fixed. That was assigning issues. Oh, this is the article we were just in. Oh, gosh. Okay, I should have checked. All right, we'll check the other one before I close this out. All right, edit guide. I don't know why we have a number 1 hanging out there either. Seems like that was a mistake. Let's see. Signing issues. Yeah, let's get rid of this block. Doesn't seem like that's supposed to be there. Oh, do a little QA in here while we're here. So edit this as HTML. Get rid of this ID. All right, and I am going to go ahead and mark that as fixed. Resolve this and go back. We're going to check that other one to see if it's the same article. Instances. Accessibility issues. Oh, it's a different one. Oh, well. All right. Okay, we'll save this and just confirm it. And that was assigning issues. Inspect. All right. Single ID. So I think we're all set. Okay. And now we have this one that is for instances. On this guide, instances. Go ahead and edit the guide. Go to instances. Edit as HTML. And get that ID out of there. And save. Okay, we'll just confirm it. Instances, inspect. And yep, only one copy of that ID. So we'll mark that one as fixed. And resolve. All right, back to our list of issues. We're out of issues. We only have warnings left. Now, this one has 60 active instances. So let's take a look at what's going on. So we have some, this is a really common issue with automated accessibility scanners. And I don't know why, but out of the blue, the wind just suddenly picked up. So I don't know if you can hear the wind chimes or the wind or anything happening. But I don't know, just all of a sudden, big gust of wind blew through. Okay, so with automated scanners, they have a really hard time calculating color contrast if there's anything even slightly out of the ordinary happening. So if you have absolute or fixed positioning, if you have any opacity applied to either the text itself or what's behind it, the container that it's in, if you have a gradient as a background, an image as a background, like all of these things will throw off an automated scanner, and it can't figure it out. So we do have our new AI scanner that I don't think is enabled on this site. I could double check that, but I can't do it on the live stream. I haven't gone in and enabled it on this, and I don't think anyone else would have either. So we're not using that right now. So it's going to show us every case where there is something that is absolutely positioned, and it's going to tell us, hey, I wasn't able to tell if this item had enough contrast. So the first thing that we see is our skipped content link, which is in WCAG in plain English. So we could just open up one of these pages. And of course, I'm logged in, so I've got the admin bar of WordPress that I have to try to get through here, but Once we get past that, we should get our skip to content link, which is black text on a white background. So plenty of contrast. So we can go ahead and mark this one. Now, in Aardvark, you don't want to mark that as fixed, because basically what's going to happen is the next time the scanner runs, it's going to see the issue still there and it's going to reopen it again. So what you want to do in this case is, I've looked at that, it's not an issue. You want to pick not an issue, and that will cause the scanner to not reopen that again. It will recognize it now and it will stop re-showing it to you when a scan runs again. So each one of these that we confirm, we're going to mark as not an issue so that the scanner stops surfacing that as an issue. And then we'll get through, I won't make us sit here and do all 60 of these today. We'll take a look at what the next issue is so we can look at some examples of different types of issues that would require manual review. We'll just look at a couple of these, and then after we're off the stream, I'll go ahead and enable the AI checker, and I'll leave a comment on the stream to let everybody know how many extra issues that closed that don't require manual check anymore. That the skip link would not have been automatically closed by the AI checker because it's not visible on the screen. And so the AI checker wouldn't have been able to see it, see whatever we're calling the word, whatever the word is for the computer looking at something. It wouldn't have been able to see that text. So the AI checker wouldn't have been able to clear that one. So that one would still have required a human to go in and double check it. But we got it cleared out already. All right. And then we have another one that would not be able to be closed by our automated checker because it is also not visible on the screen, which is our copy code button. That happens when we focus on a block of code. So here, our copy code. So it's got plenty of contrast. Contrast isn't a problem there. But again, because you have to hover or focus to be able to see that, right, the robot wouldn't be able to figure that out. So, hey, that's something for us to work on in the future is, can we make the robot focus something and then check it? So that definitely seems doable. So I think that's something that we'll go ahead and work on adding. So not an issue. And then this is also a copy code button, so I'll mark that as not an issue. And I think that's probably enough instances of this one to make you all sit through. So let's go back and let's look at our next one. So here's another one where this time it's a background image causing the problem. And not absolute positioning. So most of these, our AR checker should be able to close. So I'm actually not going to touch this one. And we have 55 active instances. So I'll turn on the AI checker after the stream and run the scanner on this, and I'll post and let everybody know how many of these it was able to close automatically. But you can see that, like, I don't even have to go to that page and actually check that, right? I can tell just by looking at that is sufficient contrast. But because that is a background image, so if we go to that page, it looks like it's just a background color in that screenshot, but you can see it's actually a background image. It's like a background SVG to cause that diagonal line. And so because it's an image, the automatic scanner by itself can't check, but our new AI scanner should be able to check and close that. So I will enable that, and maybe that's something that we could try experiment with a little bit next time. Okay, we have more background images. So I'm going to leave those because there's 350 of those, and I'm betting most of those should be able to get closed. And then here is one where it just wasn't able to figure out, right? So if I have an element, see I have a link on the page, it has a color, but maybe the paragraph that link is in doesn't have a background color, because that would be pretty unusual but that paragraph is then wrapped in another container and another container, and somewhere along that line, something has a background image, right? But there's a limitation to the automated checkers and how far they can go up the stream to figure out what the background color is behind that image. So I think this is another set. There's only 8 instances here, but I think this is another set that the AI checker could probably close. Yeah. So it just wasn't able to figure out, like, is there a background color behind this? And does it have sufficient contrast? So I'll check that one with the AI checker as well. Let's see what else we've got. Okay, we have a heading structure not logically nested. So let's take a look at that and see if we can get that fixed. All right, what do we have? Okay, our blog page. And what do we have? What is the problem? The H3 element should be in H2. Okay. This instance was seen on 5 pages. Oh, okay. So it's our blog archives pages. So it looks like these are our blog categories, I think. And it looks like we have, oh, I see, because this heading is the H1 for the page. And then we don't have another heading in between. And these are all using H2s. I'm sorry, these are all using H3s, and they should be using H2s. Ellen, yes, I agree with you. That could be done with CSS, but the trick is that we use Elementor on our site so that our developers can spend their time focused on the Aardvark platform instead of working on our marketing website, and our marketing team who does it aren't necessarily developers can make updates to the site. So there is a little bit of a compromise being made there for sure. And everybody on the team receives accessibility training, but sometimes it's hard to catch all of the little details. All right, so this one might actually be a little bit tricky to fix because I think this is using an Elementor template. And I don't want to mess up another page that probably does have an H2 between the H1 and the individual blog posts. So this one might take a little bit of finessing, and I'm not going to try to fix it on the live stream with only 7 minutes left. So let's go ahead and move to the next issue. So this was issue 14. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the next one is. Oops, did I miss it? Oh, 14, I was already there. Okay. Here we have a labels for attribute contains an ID for an element that is not a form control. And I know exactly what is causing this problem. It is our CAPTCHA. So we use a plugin called Gravity Forms, and they do provide this CAPTCHA, and we use the invisible CAPTCHAs, so it doesn't require the user to interact with it in any way. So it is hopefully not causing any accessibility issues for anyone, not that we're aware of, but if anybody has had any issues, please do let us know and we'll see what we can do to take care of that. So it is the, like you can see, like it's just a picture here. You don't have to check a box or, you know, pick all the pictures of buses or anything like that, or enter in some crazy text. But it is checking the interaction with the form to make sure it seems like a human and not a bot. And unfortunately, the way that this got implemented into Gravity Forms, it is not accessible. I have filed a ticket with the Gravity Forms team about this, and they have let me know that it's something that they feel like is out of their control, which then it's in turn out of my control, unless I choose not to use that. But even with that, I will tell you, we get a lot of spam entries on our forms, and we are looking into an alternate solution. So hopefully we can find something else to put in place there. But basically, just the way that they have coded this CAPTCHA field causes this issue to be thrown. So in this case, we have to make a call on, are we going to go ahead and leave this issue sitting here open until we find an alternate solution for managing spam on our forms? Or are we just going to ignore this and mark this one as not an issue so that it stops showing up in these scans? And I think in this case, because we are actually actively working on an alternate solution, I'm going to leave these open and not close them out, because I do think we can find a better solution, basically, and something that wouldn't cause, overall, it's a relatively minor accessibility issue that we have a label that has a for attribute that doesn't refer to a form field. It's a relatively minor problem, but it is still a problem, and I would like to see if we can get it resolved. All right, and our next issue, and maybe the last one we'll see, we have about 4 minutes left, is to ensure that the functionality provided by an event handler for this element is available through the keyboard. So our scanner has detected that there is some sort of on-click action happening on something, and it is our little, oh, that's interesting. Oh, on click, G-form submission handle button, click this. So let's go ahead and take a look. We'll go test that out and see if we can do that with a keyboard. All right, and what's my element? So we do have this, like if you're ever confused about what something is, we do have this function here. You can copy it to the clipboard, go back over to your page, open the console, and go to console and paste in that that code, and it will find that element on the page and highlight it with a red outline. Looks like this does have a display of none on it though. G-form. Where is this gravity form? That's interesting. Well, oh, it's this one here. Okay, so let's see if, whoopsie. Well, let me tab down there. Okay, let's go here. So we jump down. Whoops, I hit the wrong key. All right, we're almost there. Oh, nope. It skipped right over that, didn't it? Yeah, it went straight from cannot add a site to the logo in the footer. So this guide voting, not keyboard accessible. So that's a huge issue that we've just found here at the very end. So I am definitely going to come in here and we'll get this one assigned because I don't want to lose track of that one. I'll make sure I send it to myself and we will get that fixed for next time. We are going to have to get in there and correct that. And that is why it is showing on so many pages, because this little voting about how was this guide shows at the bottom of every single guide in our help center. And it looks like it is not at all keyboard accessible. You can see that keyboard skips right over it. That is a little gravity form, so it kind of surprises me that that's happening, but I will dig into that and see what we can fix. All right, let's look at one more before we go on. So that was issue 20. All right, 21. Yes, we have a set of radio buttons or checkboxes. They should be contained within a field set. And if we have some that are not, we definitely should fix that. Oh, it's that same form. It's that same form again. Okay, so I have some work to do on that form, obviously, because we want everybody to be able to vote on how well. Our guides are helping them. So it looks like I need to make sure that it gets a field set. I'm not exactly sure how to do that with a gravity form. So I will have to look into how to do that. Maybe that's something we can do together next time. And I also have to make sure that those radio buttons can get keyboard access. I'm kind of surprised that they can't, but we just tested, they can't. So that is a problem that we have to fix. So I will have to look into how to fix that one as well. And we've got our work cut out for us next time, it looks like. So 2 weeks from today, I think we'll keep working through this list. We'll tackle this gravity forms problem that we have with this voting form. And obviously it's a special form, right? That doesn't look like your typical gravity form. We've done some customizations to the form. So next time, I think we'll dig in to getting that fixed. And I will also turn on the AI color contrast checker and see how many of those. I think we had total just over 100 total instances of color contrast that it looked like the AI color contrast checker could resolve on its own. So we'll pick up there next time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know we did a lot of duplicate ID fixing, but we got all of those issues out of the way, and now we just have to go through all of these warnings, which requires some manual testing and manual checking to confirm if they are issues or not. And then once we figure out they are issues, then we'll have to fix them. So that's where we'll pick up next time. Thanks so much for joining me. 2 weeks from today, we'll pick up and we'll figure out how to get that gravity form fixed and make sure that it's accessible for everybody. See you all next time.